Hi there, this is Heather Embry Warren of Blossoming Heart Intuitive Arts, and this is this week's Heart to Heart video. And I want to speak about the balance of give and take. In all relationships, this balance needs to be there on some level. So from my work with family constellations and just working one-on-one with clients, if we over-receive or over-give, it throws us completely out of balance. And that the journey of relationship is really about this. So, for example, with family systems, the idea when we're born, we are supposed to receive a lot from our families or our parents, and then it's our turn to give back when we become mature, to be able to help them out near the end of their life, or when they're going through, health issues or that kind of thing. So it's even if we can't chart it, it's not like a, check and balance chart. It is rooted in love. It's rooted in what comes from our heart. So if we give more or do more and be a good saint or Samaritan in that regard, it's actually not in divine order, and it is not necessarily healthy. And it can come from our ego. And I've had to learn this lesson so many times. This is not about being eye for an eye or keeping count of what you give, but resentments kick in if you're in a place of over-giving. And even guilt will kick in if you're in a place of over-receiving. And I mean, aside from people who don't have a conscience about that or are really debilitated, where their sole lesson is to learn how to receive from others. But in a fully functioning or capable environment or relationship dynamic, it is very important that this balance is there. Otherwise, resentments, as I mentioned, anger, feeling tired, depleted, and so forth will kick in. So many people ask me, so how do I resolve this in my relationships? And it first starts, if you have that kind of relationship, with a simple conversation. And people are blown away when I say to them, it's as simple as saying, do you know what, this isn't working for me. I'm feeling exhausted, or I'm feeling drained, or I'm feeling taken advantage of. And focus on yourself when you're addressing this with the person. But I'm feeling this way. And then what can we do to resolve that? Now, having an honest conversation, it's not about making the other person wrong or saying they're not good enough or all of it. It's quite possible that you might have really, really, really high standards as well, and you need to check what your expectations are in the realm of receiving. And as we all know, assumptions to assume anything is to make an ass out of you and me. So you can never assume in any relationship that a person will give back to you in what you give. You need to have a conversation. You need to communicate and say, hey, are you expecting this? Or, hey, do you want me to do this for you? Or is this what you want? Because otherwise it becomes arrogant of us and we get disappointed, or it becomes, we try to mind read, we kind of go into this, and it really is as simple as saying, do you want this or not? So I'll give you an example. I have a certain I like an aesthetic. I like a certain aesthetic for my environments, whether it's work environment or home environment, where it's relaxed, it's cozy, it doesn't have to be perfect. I don't want it to be uber clean. I also don't want it to be messy and just kind of like a closet, right? So I have this fine balance for myself. And I've lived with people or have worked with people that have different scales of what they expect based on that. And a lot of conflict would happen when those things were not discussed, right? What is your standard? What can you do? What do you want to do? What matters to me? What matters to you? And when those conversations happen, then it actually can create a functioning dynamic. That's really what you're looking for, is just a workable, functional dynamic where feelings aren't getting hurt. One person isn't overgiving or over-receiving, and there can just be trust in it and have a good experience in general. So I want you to think about an area. Let's just think of a relationship in your life. It can be anything, at work, at home. I'm going to say a relationship that you feel comfortable having a conversation with. And I'm just going to give you a challenge. If you feel you are doing too much, or you feel that the person is giving you too much, I'm going to give you a challenge to communicate and talk to this person and say, hey, can we just have a chat about this? Because I just don't want to make any assumptions. Do you know, is this okay for you? And just see where the dialogue goes. And somebody that you feel that won't abandon you and won't go into drama and all of it, just somebody you actually feel like you could just have a like, hey, let's just check in and see where this goes. I'd love to hear from you how that is. Please come back to the video next week for more videos on how to heal and live more from your heart. I do have a workshop coming up, a couple of workshops coming up in the Guelph area. Reconcile Your Heart workshop in that one is near Rockwood, another one is up near Gravenhurst, and I have a Relax and Tune into Your Heart workshop in Elora and Erin and Cambridge. And if you are interested in those, please check out my website, blossomingheart.ca. If you are going through relationship hurt, loss, and difficulties, please book a free initial session. I can do various services, intuitive readings, one-on-one sessions to heal your heart, energy balancing, all depends on what you need and where you need to go so you can get back to your center, get back to your happiness and peace, and really make a life and relationships that work just for you. Okay, have a wonderful week and thanks for listening.